check. 1 2 1 2 real quick. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Just want to make sure that all the audios are we are going to talk about on and cracking right now. So it takes such a long time for this to get the notifications out, which is you know, sort of frustrating. But all right, here we go. We are here right now. Okay. Okay, good. So we got all of that going. Let me edit this out real quick. Just get some edits going in on this one. And then we're going to start the stream within the 3-minute mark. Okay, so '21. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, good. There we go. And then we change the thumbnail. Boom. Here we go. All right. So in about there it is. Okay, so less than a minute or so, we're going to start the show, and we're going to get on with what we got talking about right now. So, all right, let's make sure that this is on and cracking right here. All right, there we go. That is saved. Perfect. Okay, so let's see here. All right. Prasad says, Yushis. Oh, I don't know what that means, my man. Okay, hold on a second here. All right, so now we got 20 people in here. All right, perfect. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so thank you guys for liking and subscribing, because what we got right now is a couple of things that we're going to talk about. We're going to discuss why Darren Till versus Carl Froch creates a new avenue in combat sports that has never been done before. This mean, hi. Okay, hi, how are you? I guess you're trying to say that your name is Mean. So how are you? Let me know what part of the world you are from. So no one in the history of boxing has ever done something like this before, where the likes of a Darren Till can actually go in there and possibly fight somebody that is the likes of Darren Till or Carl Froch fighting each other, right? That is something that is unheard of. However, matchups like Carl Froch versus Darren Till has happened plenty of times in the world of MMA. Now, what has changed in the world of professional boxing? We're going to talk about that. Mustafa Games says, hello. Hello, how are you, my man? Let me know what part of the world you guys are from, and write on the comment section below what your favorite combat sports is, and what you like about it, and whether you like boxing or whether you like MMA. Let me know why you like one more than the other, or maybe you like both. So the other things we're going to talk about is obviously UFC 321, which has been announced for quite some time now. That is consistent of Cyril Gane taking on Tom Aspinall. The other side of that is UFC 322, recently announced, in which we have Islam Makhachev taking on the current undisputed 170-pound champion of the world, Jack Della Maddalena, in Madison Square Garden. And then a whole bunch of other cards, a whole bunch of other fights in that card that was announced. We're going to talk about that. Speaking of UFC, how about Dillian Danis' 15-second win this past weekend, right? Will he sign to the UFC? And if so, what are the names available for him? We're going to talk about that. Also, Tony Ferguson wins his boxing debut. Was it better than that Khabib never fought him? Right? Because what if Khabib damaged him badly? Did anyone ever think about that, right? Would Tony Ferguson even have a Misfits boxing career right now? Well, we're going to discuss all of that. So find out more on this epic live stream, okay, because this is the Sunday that is right after the Misfits Boxing Show. Also, a little bonus topic for my UK listeners out there, right? Will Tommy Robinson incite a riot in the UK? And that is some of the things that we're going to talk about. This is why I put on the thumbnail, on the live stream thumbnail, it said British Civil War. Now, why did I name it the British Civil War on the thumbnail of this live stream that we are doing right now? Well, for a simple reason, because when I said British Civil War, you don't know if I'm prefacing Tommy Robinson himself as an isolated incident, or maybe I'm talking about Carl Froch and Darren Till, because that is a British Civil War, MMA versus boxing's version, right? You have Carl Froch, Mr. 80,000 in Wembley Stadium, which he will say over and over again. And he has even prefaced and said that, hey, you know what? This is something that I say over and over again, versus Darren Till, a guy who was a title challenger in the world of MMA, but didn't really make much of himself in the world of MMA in terms of a championship level. He says, are you a boxer? No, but I have fought MMA and Muay Thai. So shout out to Leo. Let me know what part of the world you are from. And also, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you can, please. Okay, it would help me tremendously in my efforts here. And also, please don't forget to hit the super chat as well. India. Okay, so shout out to everybody in India. What time is it in your part of the world right now, my man? So those are the subjects that we are going to talk about. Kerala. Okay, so you are from the Kerala part of India. Okay, very nice, very nice. Welcome. I hope you are having a great time here. And you say that it is what? 10:36? I would assume that is morning time, correct? Morning time. It is 10:06 here. So I noticed there's that 30-minute difference in some kind of time zone that you are in where they factor in the 30 minutes or so. But yes, so 10:36 a.m. where you're at, 10:07 p.m. right here in the west coast of California. Leo says, I am a boxer. Okay, awesome, my man. Awesome. Well, since you are a boxer, you are definitely going to love the topic that we are going to talk about right now, because if you've seen the boxing match this weekend with Darren Till and Luke Rockhold, well, it was a devastating knockout for Darren Till, right? Luke Rockhold got knocked out cold, but they went out for drinks afterwards. And I also play MMA. Awesome. So they went out for drinks afterwards. And, well, yeah, it's what most fighters do, right? I mean, obviously, there was a lot of trash talking going into it. But by the end of the day, some people can get along with each other. So can you show me your MMA shorts, please? Well, we're not here to do that right now. I've done this plenty of times on this, on this channel before. I don't want to keep doing that just because you're a new guy in here. But what we are going to do is talk about all these topics that we have going on around the world of MMA and in the world of professional boxing. So, all right, let's start off with the UFC, okay? So obviously, the UFC has UFC 321 coming up, right? And we're going to talk about that. Now, what is in UFC 321? Obviously, the headline is going to be Tom Aspinall taking on Cyril Gane. Now, what is significant about this matchup? Obviously, we were looking for John Jones to get in there and fight Tom Aspinall. That's not going to happen. Will it happen in the future? Who knows? Maybe. There is a good chance. However, we probably have to wait until the White House, right? That is the only way that we can possibly see that happen. Let's say Tom Aspinall was to win this fight against Cyril Gane. By the way, a guy that he's never faced before. So the fact that he's never faced Cyril Gane before, it's a fresh matchup. But at the same time, we also have to keep in our mind that John Jones has beaten Cyril Gane in the first round. But listen, you know how it is. First round, John Jones and Tom Aspinall, how is he going to do with him? Will he do a first round finish as well? You don't know. Uh sty, styles make matchups. Okay, styles make fights, as they say. Frizzy Goat, bro, you're not funny. Drizzy Goat says GAY. I don't understand what you mean by that. Shout out to Grizzly Bear Boy. Let me know what part of the world you are from, my man. So, yeah, if Tom Aspinall was to defeat Cyril Gane, he can go on and fight John Jones later down the road somewhere in the summertime, which, by the way, is going to be UFC 4th of July, which is America's 250th birthday, set to take place at the White House. But that's Tom Aspinall having to get through Cyril Gane first. Now, what if Cyril Gane manages to get through Tom Aspinall? Well, that's a great possibility. You can never underestimate Tom Aspinall. I'm sorry, you can never underestimate Cyril Gane, even though Tom Aspinall is the heavy favorite going into this. Grizzly says, Wisconsin, I'm from Sacramento, California, my man. Sacramento, California represent. So shout out to you, shout out to Wisconsin and everybody in the Midwest. Drizzy says, Leo wanting to see your shorts, that was kind of suspect. Well, you know how it is, right? He's from another country. He speaks English in a different matter, right? I know that that sounds very bad, but I think he's trying to talk about highlights, right? He may be talking about seeing my fight highlights rather than seeing the actual shorts. And you know how it is with people that don't really understand or speak English as a first language. You are often going to get these very suspicious, types of conversation from just an American English speaking centric point of view. Drizzy Goat says, just random, bro. LOL. Yeah, dude, trust me. For me, as somebody that grew up in the United States, I do find that kind of sus. Now, here's something that a lot of people find kind of sus, right? You ever notice Turkey El Sheikh holding hands with random people, right? He holds hands with boxers, promoters, other celebrities that he invites to Saudi Arabia for fights. I went to Egypt in the mid 2000s, visited Egypt, and while I was there, I had noticed that this is what they do. They will hold your hand. I'm like, man, what you doing? Get your hands off me, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't about to hold my hand and this and that. So they had to explain to me that this is kind of normal. But I also had to explain to them, listen, we may be Muslim brothers, but you have to understand that I grew up in the West. In particular, I grew up in New Jersey and then moved to California, lived in California. So when you have California and New York and New Jersey all rolled into one, you are talking about the most highly arrogant and cocky type of Americans that exist in the whole entire state of the union. You understand? So we just come from a totally different culture, and yeah, it's just not what we do. We don't hold hands and we don't hold hands and kick cans. We don't ask about each other's shorts or none of that. But shout out to Leo. I know what you mean, my man. And if you really are a boxer and you also do MMA, I wish you all the best in the world because, as you know, India definitely needs some fighters in the UFC, if not in the world of boxing as well. Shetty says, yo, how are you, my man? Let me know how you are doing and what part of the world you are at right now and how your night is going because we're going to talk about some real interesting things. But for now, we are talking about UFC 321 that is going to set and take place on October 25th, not too long from now. By the way, you know what else is not too long from now is the Terrence Crawford and the Canelo fight. So Drizzy Goat says, just have to keep people in check, bro. LOL. He knows he was creepy. LOL. Well, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. But Drizzy, if you do notice these things and you are trying to protect me in that kind of manner, thank you. I really appreciate that. That right there means a lot to me because sometimes we just don't understand certain social cues, right? Um, You know the term GDAR, right? I don't want to say the G word, but you know the GDAR, right? You know when they say radar, what rhymes with radar? GDAR, okay? Like there were a few times where people have told me in different workplaces, in different school environments that I've been in, hey, you know, this guy is GAY or whatever, right? And I'm like, I couldn't tell from a can of paint or whatever, right? So they're like, yeah, you got to watch out for this guy. I was like, I don't know, you know, I thought the guy was just, you know, I don't know, like I don't see like when you call somebody GAY to me, that right there is an extremely negative connotation. And based on this negative connotation, I don't want to give people that first impression of them. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I want them to present themselves as the best way that they want to present themselves in the first impression. So this idea that I'm just going to think somebody is GAY and I don't know them from a can of paint, you know, I just can't do that. I'm going to give them the benefit of doubt. But yeah, I'm sometimes a little bit ignorant to social cues, so it is good for some people to go out there and you know kind of gives you a heads up. Shetty says hi again. He has the French flag, so I believe he is watching us from France. Shout out to you, Drizzy Goat says. But yeah, I'm all good with the Indian brothers, so I give him a pass. Well, that's another thing too, right? They have a different way of language expression. So yeah, likely they'll make Dillion versus Tony next. D-Man says, D-Man, shout out to you. First time I've seen you here. Let me know what part of the world you are from. Okay, so D-Man, when you say Dillion versus Tony next, now that's interesting. The reason why I say that's interesting is because let me ask you this. What sport? Because this weekend in the same card, we saw two different types of sports in the same card. Okay, there was an MMA card of MMA fight in a boxing ring in a single in that single card, and the rest of the card was a boxing match. So, what type of fighting would they do? Would it be boxing or MMA? Right? And Tony right now seems to be loving boxing. He did pretty good for the type of opponent that he had and the type of losing streak that he had from MMA going in here. So yeah, D-Man says, San Francisco, California, my dog. All right, man. So you have to be from Northern California. So, okay, I'm a Sacramento guy. We're neighbors, my man. Shout out to you. Shetty says, hot take. I feel Gon gets a W against Aspinall, but that just might be my French bias. Well, we all have our own biases, right? Everybody who comes into this page obviously accuses me of being a Dagestani shill, right? Or a Dagestani wannabe, right? Because we have a beard. But in reality, the reason why we all look alike is because it's not because we're trying to look like Khabib. We're actually trying to look like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So it's not so much of a Khabib look, a Khamzat look, or a Khabib or Khamzat mannerisms. These were the mannerisms of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his companions. D-Man says it would have to be MMA. Well, Tony Ferguson would have to agree to that. And, well, I think he did get cut from the UFC, so I don't think the UFC would have any reservations of him fighting MMA. So, okay, D-Man says, hell yeah, I've lived in SAC for a while too. Okay, shout out to you, my man. D-Man says, from what I've seen, you got a good MMA analysis. That's why I'm here. Well, D-Man, thank you so much, man. I really try to put the biggest effort I can into these projects, live streams, videos, and everything that I can do. So I hope you do enjoy it. And I do try to give the best breakdowns as best as I can. And also go at it from a psychological perspective. I think that's the difference between what I can offer versus what other content creators can offer. You see, I can also talk about the business side of MMA because I've seen the business side of MMA. I've had friends that fought in MMA. I've cornered people in MMA. I've seen different types of coaches, seen different types of fighters, seen the regional scenes that are involved out here in Northern California and elsewhere around the world. And just like yourself, I'm a big MMA fan, so I think that also helps. And I think having some fight experience helps as well. So this is why I'm here. And he says, I'm a subscribe, homie. Shout out to you, my man, to all my Northern California, all my Southern California, and all my West Coast compatriots out there. So there is a great possibility that Cyril Gane might win because styles do make fights. And when we're talking about how styles make fights, let's think about this. Tom Aspinall can close the distance on you, or he can hit you from a far range. But how are you going to do that against a technical mastery in Cyril Gane in the way that he gauges his distance, the way that he moves his feet? It might not be that easy for Tom Aspinall. Now, let's remember, Tom Aspinall is not John Jones, even though we truly believe that Tom Aspinall can beat John Jones. And what exactly do I mean by that? Well, in order for you to beat Cyril Gane, you have to close the distance on him, and John Jones's wrestling was more than capable of doing that. So as a result, he took him down, took away any notion of Cyril Gane dancing around the cage or using his footwork to try and evade John Jones. John Jones got on that ass real quick, and that was that, right? So now you got Tom Aspinall. What is it that he doesn't have that John Jones has, even though we think that Tom Aspinall can beat John Jones? What he doesn't have is the wrestling. He didn't grow up wrestling the way that John Jones did. So this notion that John Jones took Cyril down in the first round and submitted him, it's not necessarily the reality for Tom Aspinall's case because every fight is different for every person and styles make fights no matter what, right? No matter if one guy can beat the other guy definitively or whether that guy already has a win over the other, which is the case that we are looking at here. None of that matters, right? D-Man says, I used to talk to Spike Carlisle for a bit. He's doing his thing. Okay. And then he says, I met Touchy Feely out in SAC. He's a really nice guy. Yeah, man. I've seen Feely around the gyms in Team Alpha Male. I've seen him outside around Sacramento. So, I've seen him at, some real gritty hood out in the Howe, Fulton, Arden area of Sacramento, right? Which, by the way, is it's not a place that's really nice. There's been a lot of shootings that have been going on out there, so real hood out there, right? So yeah, that's where Touchy Feely is at. That's where I've seen him at as well. But yeah, man, he represents a Sac Town to the fullest. So shout out to him on that. So also, D-Man says, oh, I used to live in Arden also. Oh, okay. Man, if you lived in Arden, then you probably have seen me around there before because I'll tell you what, in 2010, I won an amateur state title trophy uh, in the ISKA tournaments in I believe it was in the Modesto area. So yeah, it was right here, Salida, California, July 17, 2010 is this trophy right here. There's this gym called Muay Thai Lao. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, as of off Watt Avenue. Okay, so I know exactly where that is, D-Man. Yeah, there is a gym, or it still is a gym. Maybe they moved now. Muay Thai Lao. That was the first gym that I trained at and fought out of in Muay Thai, and then got into MMA right afterwards. So, definitely a lot of history for me in that. So, okay, so yeah, man. Shout out to Touchy Andre Feely. Can't wait for him to fight again. That's going to be very interesting. But speaking of fights and speaking of UFC 321, the other fight that's in that card is by Alexander Volkov and Jailton Almeida, right? That's the heavyweight card. Not to mention there's Verna Janaroba taking on Mackenzie Dern and the co-main event. We got a lot to talk about that because Mackenzie Dern right now, I believe, is paying her ex-husband, who is a surfer, and because she has, a UFC contract, he's been garnering her wages ever since. So, yeah, and she's kind of complaining about that. I'm not here to talk about the political aspects of that or whether that is right or that is wrong. What I will say is that that could be detrimental to her taking on somebody like Verna Genderoba. I'm talking about Mackenzie Dern, right? So she could be going into this fight heavily distracted. D-Man says, I train a little bit of BJJ out there on Urban Avenue with Casio. Okay, I know where that is. Yeah, Warneck Casio. Yes, I'm very familiar with that BJJ gym. Yeah, okay, so yeah, you definitely are a SAC guy. I know all of these places that you are talking about. So Yeah, you definitely have some familiarity in this area. Shetty says, man, the strawweight division is so thin right now. It was stacked a few years ago. D-Man says, yeah, Ware Neck, BJJ. Yep, that's right. That's right. That was yeah, that was the area. So okay, so that's the co-main event. Mackenzie Dern going in there with a lot of strain to her life right now, right? Just a whole lot of things that are going on with her life. So something to look out for. Okay, so Alexander Volkov and Jailton Almeida. Now, here's an interesting thing about this, right? Alexander Volkov has fought Cyril Gane, but many believe that Alexander Volkov won that fight. Now, for Alexander Volkov to do really well against this fight, it would put him up above everybody else, okay? Because he did very good against Cyril Gane, but he didn't get the nod. And Cyril Gane probably didn't deserve that nod. And at the same time, maybe Cyril Gane wins this fight against Tom Aspinall. And let's say Cyril Gane wins, and let's say Alexander Volkov wins. Then we get a rematch of epical proportion. Now the heavyweight division is stacked again. Maybe not as popular, but it's stacked in a way where every one of these guys can beat each other now, right? So now Jailton Almeida has a chance of beating uh, Alexander Volkov. What if he wins? Okay. Also, what if Tom Aspinall wins? Well, there you go. Maybe you get Jailton Almeida versus Tom Aspinall at the White House. D-Man says, miss my peeps over there. For sure, man. SF is home, but I do miss Sac also. Yeah, bro. I tell you what, man. Sac out here is, it ain't nothing like the Bay Area. Look, I'll tell you this, right? Um, Sacramento is a lot more like LA. It's a lot more like Stockton, whereas it has a history of gang culture in comparison to, let's say, the Bay Area. They have their dope boy culture. They have an urban street culture. They have a neighborhood, uh, type of gang mentality that they have, but not in a blood and crip type of way either, right? And then I heard it's over 100 degrees here today. That's another thing too. It's a little bit hotter here than obviously the way it would be in the Bay. Shetty says John Jones would have a field day if Gane beats Aspinall. That's what I'm saying. He will definitely come back, and then he will come back and become a two-time heavyweight champion at the White House, right? Because it would obviously be an easier fight for him to take on Gane. And again, you never know. Maybe Gane will evolve off from that, but one never knows. D-Man says Jailton has a lot of potential. He definitely does. Yes, he does. D-Man, okay, yeah, we read that part. Yeah, John Jones would definitely have a field day on Gane because it's already what we saw. D-Man says there used to be more gang activity here. No, it's more covert. Yes, in the Bay Area, it's a lot more covert because they're not really color coordinated, right? Now, out here, if you go to, let's say, Oak Park, everybody out there is all flamed up, right? So shout out to Oak Park, by the way. Those are some of my peoples out there. You know what I mean? I got some, real close homeboys there. I got a lot of close homeboys, obviously, in 8th Street, Stockton as well. That's more of, that's more of my home hood, as you say. But yeah, so yeah, that's definitely true. The Bay Area is a lot more covert in its gang activity in that sense. But yeah, man. Shout out to all the people in the Bay Area. Mozzie, that's right, man. Mozzie. Um, all my homeboys know Mozzie, right? Like it's a crazy thing to say because I know people around the world that listen to Mozzie's music, and it is really amazing to hear just the positivity that they give to that guy when you know or know of him in close proximity, or people that know of him. Here's another thing, right? I've trained with Uriah Faber before, right? When Team Alpha Male was in I Street, right? In downtown I Street. That was before they moved Team Alpha Male near Sac State. So, you're a former SAC guy. You're from SAC, now living in San Francisco. You know these places that I'm talking about. So when I see somebody like Mozzie and Uriah, and these two guys that I have somewhat close proximity to, it feels like, all right, you know what, maybe I can do this YouTube thing, because you know what, it's like if you see other guys like that in your own neighborhood, in your own section, your own city that's making it, why not go out there and and try to do it yourself as well, right? So D-Man says, yeah, I used to see Uriah around too, but he wears his hoodie on. He doesn't like being recognized. No, you know what? I think most fighters, most famous rappers, or most people that are well known, they like to be noticed, but when they get too noticed, it becomes annoying. Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, now obviously I'm a normal guy. I'm not a famous guy, right? But if I've been to foreign countries before where they make you feel like you're a superstar, if you are that guy from America, or you are that guy from California, if you, let's say, go to other parts of the United States, right? At first, it feels very flattering, right? You go to a foreign country, you're the token American guy, and everybody loves you. At first, it's amazing. After a while, it becomes extremely annoying. Now, how much more when you are dealing with, let's say, thousands of people that recognize you, just coming up to you, this, that, and the other. I mean, at some point, you are going to get kind of annoyed by that. So I can see why Uriah would start wearing hoodies after a while, because he didn't want to be recognized, right? Uh yeah, some people are not going to like fame after a while. I know that fame for a lot of people seems like a glorious thing. Everybody recognizes you, this, that, and the other. But at some point, well, put it like this, right? Uriah Faber obviously is now married. He now has kids, and for a long time, he didn't know whether he was going to, have kids or not. He was getting older. He wasn't getting married. He didn't have, anyone steady. Then next thing you know, he finds a significant other who, by the way, in my opinion, just by seeing the interactions between them, it is as if I don't think she knows or understands or grasps that Uriah Faber was at one time one of the most marketable fighters in MMA. Okay, the guy had a K Swiss deal. The guy was known as the California Kid. He came out with Form, that gear that they had for MMA back in the days, right? So they never really understood or grasped the. Yeah, I'm talking about Uriah Faber's significant other. I don't think she understands just how famous he is, and I think he likes it that way. Because why would you want to be with somebody that knows that you are famous and would like to use you for that alone? So, yeah, so a little interesting take on that one. So, the other matchups that we have going on in UFC 321, we also have Alexander Rakic taking on the undefeated light heavyweight Asmat Morzakhanov, 15-0. By the way, this guy is only 5'8", fighting at 205, and that is crazy. So that's going to be an interesting matchup between him and Rakic. Now, also in the heavyweight division, how about this? Egypt's own Hamdi Abdel Wahab, right? He was in the Egyptian national wrestling team, so he's coming in here with a wrestling background, and he's fighting the ever so entertaining Chris Barnett, right? So that's the matchup. How about this? Ikram Ali Askarov coming back to take on Park Jun Young. Middleweight division. Flyweight division, you got Asmat Maksum taking on Richie Raspuso, and then Jacqueline Amaran taking on Mizuki Inoue in the women's strawweight division. And that is what we have so far for UFC 321. Now, what about UFC 322? So far, they only have three matchups that they have going on for UFC 322, right? They got Jack Della Maddalena, they got Islam Makhachev, and then they have Valentina Shevchenko taking on Weili Zhang, and then you got Leon Edwards taking on Carlos Prates. Those are the only three fights that we have, that we have noticed that have been signed so far for UFC 322, and that's about it, right? Obviously, UFC 323 is going to be a December card. UFC 324 is going to be maybe somewhere in January. right? And then UFC 325 is going to be somewhere in February or March. Okay, so yeah, all right. So that's the only matchups that we have so far for UFC 322. I made a video about it. Let me play some what I had said about this fight right here. Let me see what I had said about this fight. Hold on a second. Let me okay. I'm just trying to get this video going real quick. Oh wow, already less than an hour, already 200 views in less than an hour. Okay, all right. Well, let's keep grinding on this one. Okay, so all right, what did I by the way, guys, check out my videos as well that I have on the channel. So, okay, let's go right here. All right, 2 days ago, I dropped this video. So Dana White has now announced Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. Of course, Khabib had mentioned this previously, in which he had said, "Guys, I'm not supposed to say this, but this is not my problem. This is UFC problem. Islam Makhachev gonna fight Jack in New York, in Madison Square Garden, right?" And he just spilled the beans. And of course, afterwards, Dana White came back with an announcement. Not only that, a co-main event in which we have Valentina Shevchenko taking on Weili Zhang. Okay, moving up one weight class, moving up to Kadu asks, what happened in Civil War? Oh, we're going to talk about that, about Tommy Robinson, right? Because he's holding a protest on the same day of the Canelo fight, which is on September 13th. And many people are sort of citing that this is going to cause a riot in England because there's just a lot of angry people in England right now, and we're going to do a deep analysis on that as well. 115 to 125. Okay, so that should be a very interesting matchup. Now, the other interesting matchups on the table, we got Protest taking on Leon Edwards. So that should be an interesting matchup because I gotta tell you, I think Jack Della Maddalena is gonna lose this fight off the top. Why do I say that Jack Della Maddalena is gonna lose this fight? Because let's be honest about this, right? Islam Makhachev's wrestling is going to be too much, and as a result, he's either going to submit him or ride him out for 5 rounds, very similar to that of Khamzat, but maybe a little bit more challenging because Jack, after all, is the bigger fighter and is in the bigger weight class as he's used to fighting at 170, whereas Islam Makhachev is not really used to fighting at this weight class, and I think this will probably be the last time that he fights at 170, which brings me to the reason why this Leon Edwards versus Protest fight is really important. Now, obviously, Sean Brady is So what's important about this matchup with Leon Edwards and Protest, right? These two guys can catapult themselves back into title contention with an impressive win. Now, Leon Edwards coming off of that loss against Brady. Then you have a Protest coming off of a win after coming off of a loss. So right here, he can easily catapult himself even after that Ian Gary loss, right? So where does Ian Gary fall into all this, right? Ian Gary is not matched up, is not signed for anything so far. He's not being called upon. We don't know what he's going to do next, but these two guys right here can cut the line with an impressive performance like that. So right up there, he has been Leon Edwards, but Protest for him to beat Leon Edwards would probably help him get right up there in the title contention, or maybe something along the lines where you have Leon Edwards versus Ian Gary for the vacant title after Islam Makhachev vacates it from beating Jack Della Maddalena, or maybe Jack Della Maddalena comes back for the interim belt. Maybe he fights Darren. The bottom line is that Islam Makhachev has his eyes set on Ilya Topuria. Ilya Topuria is the sitting champion right now. He gave him an opportunity to become a double champion, as a result vacating his belt. Now he wants his belt back after he goes up and gets his second belt. Okay, because then from that point you're going to have two 155ers that are going to be champion versus champion, and that's realistic. So that's what's interesting about the Ilya Topuria versus Islam Makhachev fight, right? The Islam Makhachev fight is going to be held at 155 because I don't think Islam Makhachev wants to stay at 170. So therefore, yes, they are going to go down at 155. So it's going to be a double champ versus double champ. Islam is a double champ. Ilya is a double champ, and they're going to do it at 155. And what is that exactly going to show? It's going to show that 155ers are one of the most skilled fighters in the world, if we didn't know that already, and that's just going to prove it. Hate Love says, Salam just came into the live. Shout out to you, my man. Shout out to you. Let me know how your day went, and I hope you are enjoying your day, my man, because we are going to talk about some real interesting subjects right there. Okay, so we talked about UFC 322. We talked about UFC 321. We opened the live stream with talking about Carl Froch versus Darren Till, right? Obviously, this is creating a new avenue in the world of combat sports in the ways that it has never been done before in the world of boxing. Now, this has been done before in the world of MMA, all right? But why is it that this has never been done in the world of boxing? Well, I'll tell you why. And for the same reason why a lot of people are looking at Carl Froch as the sure winner between him and Darren Till, right? Not really taken into considerable fact that he's old. He hasn't been fighting for 11 years. He's got gray hair, for crying out loud. And Darren Till has never looked better in his whole entire career, especially the fact that he's now undefeated in boxing. So these new avenues are creating a world where you got a 3-0 MMA fighter fighting somebody like Carl Froch, who is a longtime legend, right? You don't see that in any other combat sports but this one. So okay, so I'm going to probably have to get more water in a little bit. Okay, here we go. What you see with this matchup, if that matchup comes to fruition, because Ilya Topuria has to get through whoever he needs to get through in December. I don't think there's any announcements on that yet. Let me know in the comment section below if there is. So, Weili Zhang taking on Valentina Shevchenko. I think this is an easy one for Valentina, although you never know, right? Valentina is getting old. Weili Zhang is a hard hitter, and there is possibilities that she could finish her. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with Valentina Shevchenko on this one. The championship rounds, the experience in different multiple combat sports, including Muay Thai, the championship rounds that she's had. Yes, Zhang has had her own championship experience as well, but once again, moving up to a different weight class, which, by the way, just like Islam Makhachev. So yeah, for those that are wondering, I'm going with Valentina on this one against against Weili Zhang. I just think that the experience that Valentina has is going to override anything that Weili Zhang has going on. Plus, she's moving up a weight class, so that's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be challenging, but it doesn't mean that she can't win. Weili Zhang has some serious knockdown power. So does Valentina Shevchenko. She is susceptible to getting submitted, very similar to what you see out of the Alexa Grasso fight. Will that be the same fate in this fight? You never know. That's Alexa Grasso. She had her moments and her series with Alexa Grasso. This becomes a new and different fight from now on. So different fight, different styles, and styles make fights. So that's what you get with all of these three matchups. What about Leon Edwards and Protest? The way that so to answer your question, Shaman, did I paint the walls myself? No, I did not. Explain why that is. Are you are you a Discord e-boy? I don't know what that is, CGR 45. You're going to have to elaborate a little bit more on exactly what you mean by that. I see this. It's going to be a striking matchup, more so on the side of Protest. I can see Leon Edwards taking a fight to the ground if he gets uncomfortable or gets outstruck. After all, Protest has over 100 Muay Thai fights, very similar to that of Valentina Shevchenko. But I tell you what, man, a great tradition for Madison Square Garden, UFC. Right, first time around, it was Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez. Then it was Daniel Cormier. All right, so I wanted that popcorn pattern done to mine. Oh, okay, so that's what you're talking about, the popcorn pattern that you're talking about. Yeah, my man. When I bought the house, it just came like that. I never really, did. Yeah, I never really did anything to that. So, okay, so Tommy Robinson makes an announcement ahead of September the 13th. So, okay, let's see here. Tommy Robinson's. Okay, so Okay, let's hear what Tommy Robinson has to say about the September 13th rally that he's going to hold. Right.
This is an important message. If you are attending London on the 13th of September in a large group, with friends, with family, please sit each one of them down. Make sure everyone watches this video. What we expected in London, how important is the 13th of September? Let me tell you, the entire world is going to be watching us in London. I remember saying for years when I watched the demonstrations in Ireland and other cities, and I felt jealous. And I thought, why isn't this happening in Britain? Well, now it's happening in Britain. We're about to inspire the entire Western world about what resistance is about. We are coming together in the Great British Revolt on the 13th of September. How important is it that we remain peaceful? This is the point. Do you want to win or do you want to lose? Do you want to undo everything? Like that, it can be undone. Okay? Do you want to give? You see all the politicians, all the media, all those people moaning about British flags and St George's flags, all of them calling us far right, calling us hooligans. Do you want to hand it to them on the plate? You know what will hand it to them on the plate? If you bring aggression in any way, if you drink too much alcohol, okay? This is serious. This is about our country's future. It's about the safety of our daughters. It's not a joke. It's not a game.
Okay, so I got to tell you, this is very interesting, the way that Tommy Robinson is sort of approaching this matter, right? Because the way that he's seeing this as a potential to cause riots, right? If people are too drunk, if people are too belligerent. It seems that right now he is taking a much more civic nationalistic stance, a much more mainstream approach than what he's done before, right? But let's continue on and hear what he has to say.
Okay, we have built up everything for the 13th of September. Every moment of every hardship, of every fall, of Lucy Conley, of Peter Lynch, of everything that's happened, it's leading us to the 13th of September. It's not a time for riots. It's not a time for violence. It's a time where you come and you stand proudly for your country. Now, what can we expect? Will there be provocation? Will there be infiltrators? We have a strict rule: no face coverings. If you don't...
Okay, so here's an interesting thing that he's talking about, right? He doesn't want you to wear face coverings if you wish to attend this this protest, and the reason for that is because he wants to create a mainstream feel to the type of protest that he's trying to accomplish here.
If you can't come without showing your face, do not come. If you come and wear a balaclava, you will be treated as an infiltrator to our movement. Because the police and undercover agents would wear balaclavas. They would disguise their identity in order to provoke violence. So we have a simple rule. Do not come, and we, our security, and our movement of people, and you, the public, need to make sure you tell anyone that covers their face. Remove that now. You're not welcome on the streets with us if you're covering your face. Okay? That's a strict rule. We do not want it. Now, what happens if we are provoked? What happens if, unfortunately, some imposters manage to get inside of our sterile area? We have an area, and remember, we've worked well with the police for the last 4 of our events. No trouble, no arrests, no violence. I have to hand it to the Met Police. They've done everything they said they would do, and as have we. Now, can we guarantee it 100%? Of course we can't. Okay? But we take it at face value. We've worked with them. I don't think you understand the effort that's going in behind the scenes to make this a fabulous festival, celebration of identity, atmosphere, and fun for everyone that's coming. So please, this is just an imperative message and an important message. We have to control ourselves. I understand how angry you are. I understand the level of anger across the UK. I get it. But as I said, do not give them the weapon. Do not load the gun for the media to fire us the next day. Do not load the gun for those quizzing politicians in Parliament to fire the next day. Every single one of them are traitors in Parliament. We're going to unite this country like they will have nightmares about what they see. The last thing they want is unity across Britain. But we're going to unify Britain.
So yeah, so pretty much in a nutshell, he's talking about how he does not want you to cause a riot of any kind. So, all right, let me what is this here? Okay, hold on. Let me call this dude right here real quick. I'm gonna do a little something little bonus here. All right. What is this bombshell game? Okay, 100% AI. What Brian J? When you said 100% AI, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the Tommy Robinson, uh, video that he made? Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about that I'm 100%? Obviously. Hey, what's up, fool? Hey, you're live right now on my live stream right now.
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Dude, you want to have a couple of debates? Or let's Gucci.
What's that?
Let's Gucci. Let's have a couple. Let's have a few debates. That's good.
A few debates. All right. So okay. So yes. So earlier, man, I had to get off the phone with you. I had I had a call or whatever. So yeah. Then I got on live stream. I decided I was like, you know what, man? Listen, let me call this dude and see what he's got going on and see if he wants to jump on live. But okay, but you're okay.
I have so many things I want to talk about. But
You're okay being live right now, right? Because I'm live on
yeah,
YouTube right now.
yeah,
Just
dude, I got my shit going. Let's go.
okay, awesome. So earlier I posted something about some people, I don't know, like I guess getting shot at or something in I
Oh
believe
my God, in LA?
No, not in LA, here in Sac. Remember?
Oh yeah, it was like 3 people got shot and like 2 people died or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what did you mean by, by when you said that, like, I don't know, this is something about a content. Like elaborate a little bit more on
Okay.
that.
So okay, my shit's dying, but I'm gonna hit you with the raw. So there's positive virality, there's mediocre virality, and then there's negative virality. What would you consider that to be?
I would consider that to be truth media, I suppose. I mean, people getting
Well,
shot at.
well, media, you can't. I mean, media is media, but what is it kind of lend itself to? Is it positive virality
Hello?
where people can learn from
Oh,
it
there you
and they
go.
can build from it? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can you hear
Say
me?
that again. Is it positive virality, or what was the other one you said?
Is it positive virality? Is it mediocre virality where it's like, people they're running up on people, they're giving them money, or they're having them doing chip challenges, or is it negative virality where you're running up on a motherfucker and giving him money because they owe you, right? Right?
Yeah.
There's different lanes of virality, and I don't know. What were you talking about again? I'm sorry.
No, it's more like what you were talking about. You were talking about how whether it's considered negative virality or positive virality. My answer to that is I don't think it matters either way. I think virality is virality, but it is to the perception of the person and how they
In a nutshell.
choose to consume it.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I
So
mean?
perceptionally, each individual has their own way that they kind of consume the content.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. 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 I get that. I get
Correct.
that. And you know why I do agree with that? Now, if I hadn't lived and I didn't have a little bit of hair under my nuts, I probably wouldn't understand what you said, right? But I've dealt with people that are super cool individuals, but then they don't necessarily understand how to move, I guess. They want to be like, oh, they, oh, they broke the law, but it's okay because they're hungry. Hold on, man. Does that make any kind of sense?
You know what? I see what you're saying, right? Like, are you saying some people excuse crimes based on, like poverty or
Very
excuses of
well.
poverty?
My whole thing, that's a very well put, and that's why I'm so confused. I don't know what they're tripping on. Is it because of poverty or is it because of I don't know. Like, but we have to figure something out just because of the simple fact we got kids out here. You got
Yeah.
kids. I don't have any kids, but
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, let's focus on the babies. You know, just saying.
Man, listen, I tell you what, man, look, I'm glad I got you on right now, because I dude, I really think you should, really do content. You want to know why? You know who I think your content would be similar towards? Flacco from No Jumper. I think you
I
and
hate that
Flacco
guy.
would
I
make.
fucking hate that guy. You wanna know why?
Well, okay. Now, I don't want you to be offended, okay? Because I could understand why you would hate Flacco, because there's plenty of reasons to hate. But what I'm saying is, I think you guys would have the same opinion on certain matters, not personality. We're not talking about personality, because I could name a grip of things, that I may not be able to stand about his personality, though irrelevant to that.
If you could get me with Flacco, yes, I would definitely work with him. I'm
No,
not
no,
gonna
no.
lie.
No. I'm talking. I don't have the power to do that. All that. But what I'm saying is
But
that
quit demanding your. No, you got it.
not.
You got.
Hey, you know what? Rich Trapper, right? I've been on his show before.
I like Rich Trapper, but you know who I don't like?
Who?
Fucking Dejan.
They
Dejan, he's hella kind of like, he's weird, he's fruity, he lies a lot. I don't like, and Rich Trapper fell out with Dejan. I don't know if you knew this.
yeah, I remind me who Dejan is again.
Dejan, he's like this like heavy set like black dude. He just like tries to rile stuff up. You know, he's really not about much.
This isn't Brandon, right? Not the Long Beach guy that's a jiu-jitsu black
no,
belt.
I fuck with him. No, I love Brandon.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Brandon, by the way?
Well, I mean, listen, he's a martial arts guy, right?
Him.
Right?
Good.
Yeah, yeah. You know, he's a martial arts guy. You know, that's why, I mean, listen, that's why I get along with Rich Trapper. You know, because Rich Trapper is, you know, he's a rolling 60s guy. You know, so that's always cool. You know, he's got that ties with Nipsey Hussle.
You know what would go viral?
Wait, hold on. And then he also does, you know, martial arts as well. So, you know, so
the same kind that you do, or
oh yeah, he's an MMA guy. Yeah, he's an MMA guy, straight up, full blown MMA.
But what
you know,
about Brandon? Why is Brandon like not in the conversation?
What do you mean? He like in terms of what conversation?
Just like I don't know, like he's a black belt, right?
So yeah, he is. But here's the thing, right? Do you see all the scandals that are going on with him right now, right? Okay, I think.
You know why?
Oh! I thought we lost you. Okay, you just cut off the Oh, okay, I thought you cut off the feed.
You want to know why? You want to know why I think it's happening like this? Because he wanted to figure out how to get promotion. He started with the viral way. It didn't work out. So he was like, let me go with no jumper. And it's starting to get more traction. So it's like, dude, what is he supposed to do? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is he supposed to do? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still here. I'm just trying to make sure that your audio is working on the live stream right now. Go ahead, say something again.
I keep forgetting I'm live. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah,
Sorry, no. I'm just I was just doing something on the technical side of things. Go ahead. Say, yeah. I'm still here. I'm just trying to make sure
it's all good, bro.
that your audio is working on the live stream.
Brandon is a fucking genius, bro, and we need to have him on. Bro, if we have him on, bro, it's a wrap, dude. And
what?
then, like, you can go back and forth because in reality, motherfuckers are trying to hate, and I think black belt ain't valid.
You know what? It's not that his black belt isn't valid. What happened was that he said that he was a jiu-jitsu world champion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's okay. I'll give you an example, right? You know, for those of you that are watching on the stream right now, obviously this is you know, my Muay Thai trophy that I won in 2010, right? So that's a state title, right? You know, because obviously, you know, that's fought with, you know, everybody in California. Now that's like me saying that what I won here is a world title. That's not a world title. That's a state title. You know, that's not a domestic title. That's not, you know, a United States championship. That's a California championship. So it would be like me saying, you know, that was for a world championship.
So the wording was really what kind of got people caught up, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Hey.
But you also got to understand too. Listen, we all exaggerate a little bit with our resumes. Do we not? We do it for work. We do it for YouTube
Good
sometimes.
point.
You know what I mean? So you know what this is very similar to? You know Tim Kennedy, right? The Green Beret, you know, social media influencer. You know,
Green Beret? Isn't that British?
No. You're thinking of another country that uses a beret to, you know, sort of, but a Green Beret is, you know, it's an Army Special Forces in the United States. So, so one of the things that they had going on with Tim Kennedy was that he lied about winning Medal of Honor in combat. You see what I'm saying? Okay,
Shit.
so you see the similarities, right? Like,
Wait. So you're saying that since Brandon was, that's not, you're saying it's similar to that?
I would say so. I would say so. It's very similar.
Bro.
Yeah, because look, watch this. But watch this. Watch this. Let me tell you why I think it's similar. Let me tell you why it's similar when Brandon's saying that he was a world champion jiu-jitsu guy, but he's really just a black belt, and why it's also similar when Tim Kennedy lied about winning the Medal of Honor when he was already an elite special forces soldier. Now look, when you're a jiu-jitsu black belt, that's impressive enough. You understand what I'm saying? If you go out and you win medals, whether it's a local tournament or whether it's a state tournament or whether it's a national tournament, it's still impressive. Okay?
What's Brandon's prestige though? Isn't that
he is a black belt. No, I'm not disputing that. If anybody in the no jumper universe is is disputing.
Yeah, dude. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah.
Okay, so he's a real black belt, but his accolades are exaggerated. Okay, just like Tim Kennedy. It's impressive. It is very difficult to become a Green Beret Special Forces soldier, but he did it anyway. But what he did was he lied about winning a Medal of Honor or winning a Purple Heart. That's what Tim Kennedy lied about. But here's the thing. Everybody exaggerates their resume.
But wait, hold on. Now, if it was just Brandon just popping his shit, that would be one thing. But he actually got the people that gave him
Stream right now. Go ahead. See.
Credentials. Called
Correct.
So now you're saying that they're like just like hustling him or something like that? At this point, you're saying they're hustling my dude. And they're hustling him. And they sold him a black belt on the under, acting like, oh yeah, you got one. But in reality, he doesn't really fucking have a black belt.
No, he has a black belt. He has a black belt. I'm not the one who's denying that. Maybe other people in the no jumper universe are denying that because they don't understand how martial arts works.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But I do agree. I do agree that he exaggerated his championships.
That's what you're saying.
Okay. And he also did win medals. He did win championships.
He had some guys call up and
but they're not world championships.
You know what I mean?
What?
He had some people call up and vouch for him, and I thought that was kind of, I don't know who the people were, right? It's not my world. But I thought that was like, I don't know, like, we got to get him on the screen, bro. We got to get him on the pod. You don't think that would be a good back and forth?
You know what? I'm gonna make some calls to people in Long Beach.
Ooh.
That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think because
hey,
because he comes from that blue side of things. You understand? So
I try not to tug it out, but I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. He's with those people. So, I'll call whoever I need to get to to do that.
I'll get a haircut. Look, I'm messed up right now. I'll clean up, my dude.
No. It's all good. You're only on audio right now. I know you could. Yeah, I didn't want to put you full blown into. But if you want me to give you a 1 second cameo right now, I will. I mean that San Diego hat's looking kind of fly, so why not, right?
It's all
no. No, man, come on, man. It's a San Diego Padres cap. You can't go wrong with that.
You know how to do the thumbnails?
What's that?
You know how to do the thumbnails?
I have thumbnails? Yeah, this has a thumbnail. Yeah.
But do you know how to do thumbnails?
I do. I
Okay,
mean,
well, cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, get a good one.
You
Hold on.
sure? Okay, okay.
Let,
Ready?
let, let, let me know when you're ready.
Okay, five, four, three, two, one. Here we go. All right, there it is, right there. There it
Yeah.
is, man. Yeah. All
I
right.
just be playing. I just be playing with it. but I will say this though. But I will say this. I hate to be a dickhead, but I I when I first met you, you were like you wasn't feeling me, and I didn't know you. I was looking at you. But after I met you and I seen your fucking what's it called? We actually went up to a door show together, and I was like, holy shit, this motherfucker actually is that nigga, bro. But I can't tell him he's that nigga because he's gonna get too arrogant. See?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I feel it. I feel. Hey, you know what, bro? Listen, since we're in the MMA page, right? I want to talk about a former coworker of ours that is MMA related. Do you remember D'Angelo Baharas?
I have to see him. I'm a weedhead. I have to see him.
Hispanic guy, remember? Light, light skinned, European looking,
The only
Hispanic
Hispanic
guy.
person I want to remember is Hobby. That's the only
Yeah, no,
Hispanic
no. Let's not mention him
I know.
because yeah, yeah, he's yeah. He's a private person, and you know how it is on the dead homies. So you know what I mean? Like,
That's a. We're gonna have to go in depth one of these episodes. Like, holy.
Okay, so for those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about, right? D'Angelo Baharas. He's a guy that trained with Team Alpha Male. I trained with him as well. I worked with him. And he.
We're going to a UFC fight. I don't give a fuck. We're going. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so he got into a shootout with the cops and got killed. This is a guy that we worked with.
Oh yeah, is that the guy that actually? Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember. Actually, you worked with. I never worked with him. But
right, right. Yeah. He got into a shootout with the cops and got killed. Yeah, D'Angelo Baharas. So
we actually, just to give people a little bit of insight, we used to sell solar. Me and this fine gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think that when I first seen him and he seen me, we didn't really think much of each other. We're just like, he had his crew and I had mine. So we never really kind of networked. But then we ended up being on the same crew. And yeah, and here we are. Yeah. I'm glad I ended up getting in the crew.
Yeah, man. Those, you know what? Those are some good times, man. You know what I mean? Some real good times, of course. So
remember Diego?
Yeah. I still talk to him. Yeah.
He's still trying to network and figure out things. He's more of the. He told me he's more of the. What's the Tracy? What's the dude from oh jeez, dude, they have a little thing in Miami where they're kind of crazy on the women and they go in
Myron, Fresh and Fit.
Okay, so he's super into Fresh and Fit, and that's cool, And I kind of like Myron a little bit, and I kind of like the other dude a little bit. I forget the other dude's name. But I feel like Myron, he's kind of like he's like, screw it. This is how I feel. If you ain't feeling it, screw you.
So do you like what Myron Gaines is about, or
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay?
Yes. But I don't. But I feel like there's a better angle. That's all I'm saying. I love what he's doing, but I feel like there's a better angle. Yeah.
Well, I you know what? I would have to agree with you on that, right? Because obviously he was demonetized out of YouTube. So,
I knew something was gonna happen when he was going hard, bro. Like I couldn't blame him though because everything he said was on. Oh, excuse me. Everything he said was on point. Like what the heck, dude? How can you disagree with that? If you disagree with that, you're what?
Also, I think, man, listen, he really goes hard at at black folks.
I like the
You know what I mean?
I like the approach where he's setting up a stand, like literally on the strip in Miami, and you just walk up, and he'd be like, "Yo, you're corny. Like you don't need Gucci's on right now. How much you make a year? What the fuck? He's talking about my Gucci's, bro. What?" And then you walk up like, "What?" And then he literally schools you, bro. What did you spend on that versus what you did your rent? It's just, you know what I mean? Like, let's get it together. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what? Those are some things that is hard to disagree with, right? Because it's like, how do you disagree with that, right? There seems to be a lot of reasonability in the way that he's expressing these things. There seems to be a good point in some of the things that he says, but I think the delivery sometimes is what really throws a lot of people off.
That's the gangster point. That's the gangster perspective. Because that is the actual thing that is actually throwing everybody off. Not only is it throwing people off, you're actually screwing your pockets up a little bit because people would actually rock with you if you just kind of busted it down in a different way, I guess.
So
You know,
speaking of Myron Gaines, right? You know who Myron Gaines is friends with, and I want to segue this to a topic that I've been talking about profusely. I've made like about 10 videos of this already, 10 live streams of this. Rampage Jackson, the father of Raja Jackson. Oh yeah, let me take a screenshot of that real quick and look at the frustration in your face when I mentioned that man's name, Raja Jackson.
I'm sorry. You missed it. You missed the moment, but
No, we didn't. I caught that part. You looked very disgusted when I mentioned Raja Jackson. Why?
can I
Why?
explain?
As a black man, why are you disgusted when I mentioned Raja Jackson? I want to know why.
Because it boils down to the whole reparations thing, in my opinion. And I'm a fucking what's it called? I'm a fucking Republican. Okay.
Wait. We're talking about Roger Jackson here, right? This
Yeah,
go.
exactly. What?
Okay. I'm just trying to understand where you're going with this, but go ahead.
It's all about what you just brought up. But I bring it up because as black folks, now I could be wrong or whatever, and Rampage is Rampage. We've seen how he treats his son, and
Right.
it's none of our business, right?
I called him a bad father.
As black people, we have to be kind of rough because, like, it's just how we're brought up.
Wait a minute. So okay, you know what's crazy about this, right? You know, I'm pro Raja Jackson, right? And I get a lot of stick.
Me too.
Okay, so I get a lot of stick from people in the MMA community on YouTube because of this. I get serious stick for this because you know the way that they're portraying it. They're portraying all of this as attempted unaliving. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of a sense. I'm sorry. I'm kind of tearing up. I'm apologize. Keep going.
No, yeah. So they are viewing this as attempted unaliving. So therefore, they want me to be part of that whole thing. I'm against. Look, here's the thing, right? I'm for Roger Jackson, but I do agree. Okay, so I think we're in the same page. Okay, I think we do share the same opinions, right? I'm for Raja, but I agree that Rampage is a bad father.
It's all boils on to him, and you know.
But you mentioned something very interesting, though, that I may have missed, okay, about this, right? You said that as black men, you have to be harsh to your kids because, yeah, explain that. Elaborate on that.
Not only do we have to be harsh on the kids, but we have to be harsh on the outside entities because we don't know their intentions, if that makes any kind of sense. And we need to instill our youth that you can't just be everybody's friends. And I think that kind of bleeds into what's going on. You know, like he wanted to be everybody's friend. He wanted to kick it, and he was talking to dude. And when dude slammed the can on his face, he's looking at his buddy like, this wasn't a part of the gig.
Right.
He's looking, you know what I'm talking about? This wasn't a part of the gig. And he's like, oh, don't even trip. And dude was like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought, you know, like, it was just, I don't know. And then, but it all boils down to Pops too, because he kept like messing with him. I don't know if you ever seen.
Yeah, he said, man, how you gonna let these dudes in tights punk you like that?
Called him too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I remember that part too.
He was saying, do I need to go call reinforcements in there?
He asked his dad, like, what should I do? Lightweight. He was actually calling his dad, like, what should I do? I don't know if you remember that.
No, I do remember that, yeah.
And when his dad was like, oh, don't be a hoe. Oh, you should have smoked that nigga. You should have. I'm like, now, mind you, I fucked up one time, and I apologize, but I was getting my hair cut, and the new, what's it called, movie was coming out, and I had the bootleg joint, and he had come in. Yeah, this is a little exclusive joint. And he had come in, and I said, oh, shit. He said, what the fuck? That ain't even, that just came out the theaters. He's pissed off at the barber. Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the 18 movie?
Yes. He wants to smoke with the barber because I got the exclusive. I'm burning the shit on DVDs, right? And I gave the barbers the shit so I can get my hair cut. They're like, hey, I don't know where it came from, but they just threw it in the DVD player.
Oh man, yeah, Rampage would have whooped your ass right there.
He probably still wants smoke. Hey,
Rampage would have whooped your ass right there. Man, listen, yo, this.
I just need a fade, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're getting a fade, all right. You know what I mean? You getting a fade, all right.
If I will touch smoke, nah, man, come on, man. You gotta respect it because look, you gotta respect it, bro. Come on.
I mean, if you think about it, out of all people that you run into,
and he didn't know though.
You know what I mean? Like
he's looking like a pit bull. Where'd that shit come from? That shit ain't even in the goddamn what's it called? I said, I'm getting faded, bro. I'm getting my little taper.
Yeah, man.
I ain't shit.
But
I you know, we all gotta live and this, that, and that.
I mean, because look, man, Rampage, you know, will beat up people for less than that, let alone a burnt DVD.
I didn't, bro. Yeah, I just playing that. But I was like, and he's like, what the fuck is this? I'm getting lined up. They're like,
but
almost told me like I can't come back.
Yeah.
We're still cool.
Do you find it kind of weird that he sort of gives his I don't know, man, like he favors his Japanese kids more than his full black kids, and I find that kind of weird. Well, I mean, look at the comment that he said. He said that, hey, listen, you know what? If with my Japanese kids, I saved them college money. With my full black kids, I saved up bail money. I mean, that's kind of a weird thing to say. You didn't hear that, did you?
Different. I think he's just on this. He's on a tip like I kind of would be on. Like if I got like a good, what do you call those sick ass dogs? Man, if I had
a breed, a certain breed of dogs.
If I was breeding Malamutes, I would kind of be like, yo, you fell short here, there, you got, I don't know, bro.
But we're human beings, bro. Like I understand we're all different human beings with different ethnicities and religion, but we're not dogs, bro. You know what I mean? There are black people that are smarter than some Asians, and then there are some Asians that are just smarter than black folks, and vice versa. You know what I mean? This idea that okay, my half Japanese kids are destined for college and then
That
my,
is weird.
you know what I mean? And then my full black kids are
Yeah.
destined for prison. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing to say, but then again, you never know with Rampage because you don't know if it's just banter or if it's just. Go ahead.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt.
No. Go ahead.
What race are you?
I'm half Arabic and half Islander.
Ooh, I think that would be sick out, and you probably already figured it out. But I want a half. What was it?
Half Arabic and half Islander.
It like mixed with the Samoan and a motherfucking. You know what I mean? Like a straight superhuman, like a straight superhuman.
Yeah.
You know, the brains and the wit of yourself with the cunningness of, you know what I mean?
Right.
Jeez. What would that be like?
Look, I don't know if I ascribe to the idea that if you're born into a certain race that you're predispositioned for, some sort of physical attributes. Right. Like I don't know if I would totally ascribe to that.
It's
I mean,
on the parents. It's on the parents.
Yeah, but I know, but we know there's a lot of Hebrew Israelites and white nationalists that would say otherwise. You know what I mean? They those are the type of people that will say otherwise to those notions.
I say that it's pretty much known that like certain Arabic individuals, if God just happens to touch a little brain cell, you are seriously like set up. I have a super. Oh my God, the guy's so intelligent. He'll freaking rock your brain, and we'll get him on the pod. But he's Arabic, and then I have another homie that is from Japan that literally runs the internet. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. And then another guy, like these kids are so, and they're young. Oh God, we gotta have the. Oh jeez, I have so many ideas, but we can't just let it leak. But oh dude, gotta have the. Oh, sorry, I have so many ideas. Yeah, just let it leak. I have so many business ideas. I kind of.
Well, before we get to that, let's not leak out any private information. But okay, well, what I will say this, right? So obviously, there's been a lot of immigration going on right now. A lot of ICE raids. Well, I tell you what, this sort of segues into because the other topic that I had tonight, is sort of talking about the potential riots that is going to happen in England, right? They're having a white nationalist march in September 13th in England, right? Because they're complaining about a lot of migrants that are moving in, this and that.
But my passport if you want to go down and get the footage, but continue.
Okay. So there's a lot of that going on, right? And I thought, you know what, there's some similarities to this in what is going on with the ICE raids that we're seeing here in the United States. Now, have you known anybody that's been affected by this? Any Hispanic friends of yours or any friends of foreign origins that have somehow been affected by ICE in some kind of way?
Well, I do have. It's very ironic and it's very kind of cool that you brought that up because like I do have one friend, right, that was actually an immigrant. When I first came to California in the year 2000, January like 2nd or 3rd, like literally moved, right? He had a little restaurant. We went there before we caught the bus, and we would eat at his little Mexican restaurant. His family-owned Mexican restaurant in Rio Linda. But like the guy passed away, unfortunately, about 6 months, about a year ago. But he was an illegal individual, right? You brought it up, so we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
He was like, you know what I noticed about him? And I love him to death, and we kind of fell out over this. He was like on this shit where he was like, excuse my language, he was on this step where he was like, I'll do whatever I want. I'll thug it out. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? I get in this car, he's like, I thought I was gonna die. You know,
It's you listen. It's cool because I've mentioned this on the channel before. I've gotten 10 tickets. I so guys, I've gotten 10 tickets. Listen. Let me finish this. Right, I got 10 tickets in 1 year, and I beat all the cases by myself with no lawyers.
Why? Because Sacramento is wild.
Well, because the police didn't do a good job of the paperwork.
Sacramento's crazy, bro.
So
like, we already have, yeah, we don't have a good record.
A good record in terms of what?
Just like Sacramento, just getting like fighting, finding somebody who's doing something wrong and giving them a ticket, and then actually like, being legitimate, like you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But I know you're crazy, and I've been in the car with you. This guy is fucking nuts. I think that he'd be like on the shit like I just want a nigga. He wants somebody to like test him, but like.
I think you are right. Yes, that's I think that's part of it. That is definitely part of it. Yeah, like
I love you to death. I love you to death. That's why I say what I say. Like shit because.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But good times though, nonetheless. You know what I mean?
No,
Good
hell
times.
no. Hell no, those weren't good times. No, I'm just kidding. Those were good times. I want to flip it on you for a second.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Those were crazy times. Yeah, crazy times. Like, you know us black folks, we're scary. We don't like to, like, especially nowadays, dude. Have you seen the news lately, bro?
Well, what do you mean by when you say black dudes were scary? Because if you mean scary as in,
okay,
yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, I'm like,
but I know that there's other
yeah,
men.
yeah. I was like, listen, I was like, let me bring you to Oak Park, bro. I'm like,
but I'm telling you, there's other brother men out there that feel me. No, we ain't playing. Niggas is getting smoked, bro, at the dinner table. But didn't you see the shit where they were sitting at the thing trying to get content, and somebody broke it, somebody drove into? You didn't see that?
Oh, you're talking about the couple, right?
Yeah, they were like getting content. They were doing content.
Is that real? Is that legitimate, or was that staged?
It was in Texas. Yeah, it's ratchet, bro. In places, you need to be careful. Yes, sir. That was a real situation. Yes, it was. Yeah.
Damn, man.
I'm like, dang, you know what I mean? And I care about you, man. That's why I say it.
Man, well, I appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate that for sure.
Yeah. So this guy right here, Mr. Mr. Guy here, he helped me out a lot. I would have probably found it in the mailbox. But
No. Don't mention this. Don't mention this.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't mention this because then
legal stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But what Trey here is prefacing is let's just say that I made sure he didn't miss out on a certain bag, and
Hey man, what the heck, bro? I cannot, bro. This guy is my dude.
Yeah. But just don't say what it is because because you know how it is. People out there are smart, right? They put things together and they're like, oh, okay, so he's such and such, okay, and then they start tracking things down, start tracking you down, and next thing you know, they show up in random places that you didn't think they would show up at.
Whoa, show up.
You know what I mean?
I have a question for you. Speaking of showing up in random places.
All right. Hold on.
Can
One of
we?
my chat says, "Yo, what's up? Hope all is good,
Oh, that's
bro."
what's up.
Shout out to you, Rodzilla. Shout out to you. All right, go ahead, Trey.
I have a question. Can me and you rent? Oh, dang, we can't rent one. We gotta actually buy one. But can we get the Cybertruck and see if it's bulletproof for real?
I know for a fact that it's bulletproof.
No, I know too, but I kind of
Yeah,
want to get one and just play around with it.
but to actually like do it and to rent it, I don't think you'd want to do that
You can't.
unless,
Well, you can't rent it and then do it. So they're gonna be like, you did that, right?
well, not
They're gonna be like,
necessarily.
you just rented this car and then you messed it up, right?
Then you'd have to, file something to say, oh, I was, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, you show
We
up
gotta
on,
figure out something. We
and
gotta
then
figure
next
out
thing
something
you know,
to do
you
it.
show up on paperwork, and then Whack 100 is gonna expose you.
Okay. I have to ask you. Okay, now we can talk about this now. That you're here.
All
So
right.
how do you feel about Mr. Wack? How do you feel about it? What's his thing? I know it's
Oh
all
man.
content, but
Listen. For a long time, I really liked him because he was a bit of a rebel rouser.
I always loved Mr. Wack. But continue.
Not only was he a rebel rouser, okay, he was also uh approachable because
He still is. You got
he
his phone number out there. I mean,
no he is that's sort of his brand and content is that Whack 100 is very approachable, right? You have to remember, Whack 100 has the same position that Suge Knight should have had if Suge Knight continued on, right?
if he didn't like bug out, yeah, right.
So that is who Whack 100 is. He is the lineage
That's
of
kind of why I
Suge Knight.
gravitated towards him a little bit. You know what I mean?
That's kind of what.
That's kind of why I gravitated towards him a little bit.
But here's a difference between him and Suge that I think is really important. The difference between Whack 100 and Suge Knight is that Suge Knight is less approachable than Whack 100.
He's in prison for the rest of
No. But I'm not talking about approachable as in the physical form. I'm talking about their their availability. No. Let me finish. Their availability as human beings. Rodzilla says the first time I ever heard of Whack 100 was when the game beat him up years ago. I'm from the UK, so don't know much else about Whack 100. Rodzilla, Whack 100. Hold on. Let me answer this question to one of my listeners here. Rodzilla, Whack 100 is the manager of the game. Did he really beat up? Did he really get into a fight with the game? I know that when they first met, when the game and Whack 100 first met, they drew guns at each other's faces due to the beef with G Unit.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and that is when Whack 100.
What was that? What was that guy's name?
What guy?
Was that somebody that?
Well, just one of the people just reading a chat. What somebody in my chat
They know what they're talking about. Like holy shit.
Yeah, one of my UK listeners. So yeah, he said
we are in America, so but then again, I only say that to say that like we're in California, me and
Kyrie.
My friend Kyrie Reed. And so we kind of have a little bit of insight on the California politics, but oh shit, dude, wow, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. But yeah, Godzilla. I think that was the case. There was a time where Whack 100 and the game were opposite of each other, but now, I mean, they are, like this. They're very tight with each other now. So,
I just hope that these guys are very approachable, like you just said before, right?
You're talking about Whack?
Yeah, Whack.
Yeah.
Game, all these guys.
No, the game is not actually. That's the funny thing about it. Look, the game. Here's the thing, right? He barely does content, right? I think that he should do content, right? but he comes from that era where they were heavily reliant upon, well, you know what, I'm a platinum superstar. I don't got to be out there like that every day. Whereas today, if you want to be famous online or anywhere, you got to be on every day. That's why I
Very much
live
so.
stream
Very
every
much
day.
so. Very
I
much
live
so.
stream every day so I could reach a different audience from a different part of the world. Whereas back in the days, you had to be you're not on camera, by the way, or you're just on audio, but because you're making like faces at me like you're on camera right now. But if you want to be on camera, just signal to me, you know what I mean, when you want to make those faces. But no, yeah, man, that is, yeah,
I thought I was lit.
yeah.
I love you to death. Wait, so by the way, oh shit, that changed the whole shit. But no, I will tell you this right now. Oh wait, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So, how do you feel about the whole Lord Jamar, Godfrey, everything? Godfrey, Lord Jamar were doing their own little thing. They kind of went astray from Vlad TV.
Uh-huh.
Because I guess Vlad said some weird stuff about like Muhammad, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds on brand with DJ Vlad. I mean, DJ Vlad is a Jewish man.
These are current topics. That's
Yeah.
the reason I brought it up.
Yeah, DJ Vlad is a Jewish man, so it doesn't surprise me that he would have anything negative to say about Islam.
He didn't mean to do it, and he said something that he didn't mean to say. And Godfrey and Lord Jamar kind of got a little frustrated with him, and they decided to kind of part ways. Dumbasses. Not really dumbasses, because they already had their own things going. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In reality, they knew what they were doing. They were taking their leverage and saying, hey, if you don't go apologize to what's his Muhammad, the Muhammad, I'm sorry, I don't know,
The Prophet Muhammad. Yeah.
If they don't go apologize, if Vlad didn't go apologize to said guy, they were gonna back out and not do any more content with them. So Vlad's like, oh. He said, screw it. So they both left. Now watch what happened. Godfrey and Lord Jamar fell out eventually after that because they fell over flat earth, Maji. If you can get some editors, we can bust down a sick ass thing and go viral, Maji. I got every single video from the time they fell out, everything, right? And YouTube Premium all shit. So boom, they fell out over flat earth. So Lord Jamar and Godfrey fell out over flat earth. Meanwhile, here's Vlad over here on the West Coast, messed up because he don't got no Lord Jamar or Godfrey, right? He's messed up.
Yeah.
And then eventually, what Lord Jamar said? Oh, Godfrey's he's a pussy. He's gonna go back to Vlad. He's gonna go back. He never went back, and Lord Jamar.
Hey, real quick, let me read this comment. Zilla says, I feel like the game could still do tours and perform some of his classics. He has not done anything new for years, though. And then he also says, I think Vlad could instigate a lot of trouble in his interviews. I don't think he purposely tries to, though. He just asks questions. Doesn't create the answers. I don't really like Lord Jamar, though, and I quote from Zilla.
I like that answer because in reality, Vlad's not. He's just trying to make content like we are.
Yeah.
Right? Like just so happens he's been doing it for a while, and he has a couple big wigs that come by. And so, yeah, that was a good comment.
And I think a lot of people blame Adam too over the years, especially with the whole snitching thing, right? That's sort of the big thing that they get at Adam for. Like they call Adam a snitch.
Here's the thing.
But Adam is a civilian. He's not,
I have some real deal content for this one, for this whole snitching thing.
All right.
So a really good friend of mine. Did you ever meet Arlo, my little dwarf buddy?
Dwarf buddy. Like when you mean dwarf, like you mean like Hezbollah?
No, he was a smaller. He's a midget. Just to be like kind of
like Hezbollah. That's what I was prefacing when I said.
I say a midget just to break through and like tell people like what it is, but they don't like that word. So you have to like tell them like they're like smaller person or like a dwarf. They prefer. Certain people prefer that. Some people don't care, but nonetheless, my smaller homie, he really broke through to me and showed me a whole bunch of like crazy stuff like that. Dang it, I'm bad, so I forgot. So.
No, you're talking about how your friend who was small and something to the effect that him being small and when whatnot.
Yeah, but him being smaller, I really lost my train of thought, and I super apologize for that.
No, it's good.
But like him being smaller really kind of like opened up my eyes to just like who people are. You can't just be like, oh, midget. That's like the N-word.
Yeah. NJ, shout out to NJ03. He says, "Yo, what's up, my boy?" Shout outs to NJ03, one of my members on my members only stream. By the way, guys, check out my members only stream because I got some real controversial topics right there. By the way, the next video that I'm going to release on my members only, by the way, content that I do not release on the wider public, I'm going to write why you need to join a gang in California. That is my next, topic in my members only section. So check out my members section only. I have videos on Little Dirt. It's kind of like a Patreon, but in YouTube. So you'd have to hit the join button. It's very cheap. It's like $1 or $2 a month. So
if anybody in the chat knows how to like kind of, I know this is crazy, but if anybody knows how to like quit smoking tobacco, throw it in the chat.
Okay. So you guys heard that. If you know how to quit smoking, my man Trey wants to know how to do that. Rodzilla. Rodzilla says Adam22 started the conversation. Rodzilla says he sits on the fence too much. Adam wants to play gangsta 1 minute, then flip to civilian when it suits him. NJ03 says Adam knows damn well what he is doing.
Here's the thing with Adam 22. Leave him alone, man. Let him get some money, man. Eventually, karma, I hate to say this, will set in. And I don't want karma to set in for Adam 22. But he's going to have to grow up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what kind of karma do you think will come towards Adam?
You can't have your wife fucking other people, bro.
Well, okay. Aside from that,
But hold on, let me finish. If you marry someone, right? I know your religion,
right.
Right?
Well, obviously, Adam doesn't play that same game that that everyone else does.
You're playing with religion. Why would you marry someone and then let them be your?
Are you saying that Adam would have been better off not going at the holy matrimony route?
Thank you.
Is that what you're saying? Like
why
rather
do you have to play with that?
Yeah. Because
you know what I mean?
Because look, this is what I see from a lot of non-religious couples, right? They'll say, well, we're already together, we don't really need the state to do that. But then also here's the other thing, right? There are Muslim couples out there that are not officially married on paper, but are married by the mosque and by, the sheikh. You understand?
I do.
So there's that, Zilla says here, even without religious implications, it is the reap that you sow. All right. Shout outs to Zilla on that one.
I like that.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chat.
Yeah. So.
But my whole thing is though too is like you got a guy He's out here in California. He's from like
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Let the guy live. My Jesus Christ. Now, mind you, you know what's really ironic about the whole subject? If anybody that is lightweight disagreeing with Adam 22 in the chat was in his same position, it was, come on, man. Come on.
You know who Adam reminds me of? There's this personality in the world of MMA called MMA Guru, right? I don't know if you heard of him. Have you heard of MMA Guru?
I'm Media Guru. So, just so you guys know.
Oh, is that your handle, Media Guru?
No, I'm Media Guru. You said MMA Guru.
Yeah, no. MMA Guru is a person that is in the MMA world. He's an MMA journalist, MMA YouTuber. Okay, so here's the thing, right? He reminds me of Adam 22 without the whole cuck thing, right? The reason why he reminds me of Adam 22, listen to this, okay? He's very unique, right? Tell me if this doesn't remind you of Adam, okay? He's not from any MMA gym, right? Therefore he's not from the culture. Okay, so does that sound familiar, the dynamic of this? Also, he's the biggest platform in MMA journalism, right?
Oh, no, wait.
No, well, mainstream, but we're talking about like internet, famous. You understand what I'm saying? So
that's Joe Rogan, though.
So no, Joe Rogan, interviews Trump. He interviews Bernie Sanders. This is not normal.
That's big wig.
Exactly. So, so MMA Guru, is within this culture. You know what I'm saying? Oh, but he's an outsider of the culture to many people.
Okay.
So that's kind of, so that is why I compare MMA Guru to Adam 22, because there's a lot of people in the MMA world that don't want MMA Guru to, cover MMA, for one reason or another. And there are people in the hip hop world that don't want this white boy from New Hampshire who came here, on a BMX expedition, and all of a sudden, he goes from a BMX channel to the biggest hip hop channel in the world. No. Let's get to the whole chronological order of this, right? BMX channel to SoundCloud rapper channel to gang channel. Sound about right?
How does the chat feel about WAC 100?
What do you?
That's the next thing that.
Rodzilla says Guru has the same kind of cult-like following. Love him or hate him, he's popular. We call it the chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese, huh? That's interesting, Rodzilla. Care to elaborate a little more on what that means when you say chalk and cheese? Yeah, let me know what you mean by that.
You know what's crazy? Speaking of cheese, excuse me. Come on. I had this fucking super fire smoked. It was hickory smoked cheddar.
NJ says, I only listened to Guru a couple of times, not really a fan. Well, I tell you what, right? So let me preface this, what I like about somebody like Adam 22 and MMA Guru, okay? What I like about MMA Guru is that he never trained, he never fought, he never even trained at a gym, but he is the #1 MMA streamer in the world.
I have a question.
Okay, now Adam 22, he's not from a hood, at least not a famous hood, not like a famous hood like Harlem.
Goddamn hood.
But that's what I'm saying. But okay. I appreciate the emphasis on that, and that is the point. That is the point right there. He ain't from no hood. He's from New Hampshire. MMA Guru is not really an MMA guru, but he is the biggest MMA streamer in the world, and Adam 22 is the biggest hip hop streamer in the world.
Give him his justice.
You see what I'm saying?
You know what's
I'll
crazy
tell you
about
what I
that?
like about that. Well, boy, before you go on, I'll tell you what I like about that. It shows that anybody can do it. That's what I like about those two.
I told you that. Hey, hold on. I told you that. I told you that. You,
You told me that anybody can do it. I'm sure plenty of school teachers have told me this.
You're right. I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. But I told you, motherfucker, do this shit, bro. And look at you. And look at you.
Here it is. 1,000 subscribers later.
Guys, in the chat. This motherfucker didn't want to listen to me. He told me. He said, "No, I don't want to do it."
Did I really say that?
You didn't say you didn't want to do it, but you were like, nah, you're like, I got a lot of shit going on. Well, you were just different about it. I swear to God, I told you to do this.
Huh. Okay. All right.
I hate. No, I'm not. No, I look weird.
Okay. So, Rod says, kind of love and hate. I guess it's like Stone Cold Steve Austin. He was always playing a bad guy, but the fans loved him.
Ooh.
And then NJ says, haha, yeah. So.
Do you remember WWF? That was hard, bro. WWF was ill, bro. All that WWE and all the other weird shit.
They had to change the name because there was the World Wildlife Federation, and so yeah.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened. World Wildlife Federation. I remember when I was in school, right? I saw there was a WWF sticker. It was for environmentalists, right? But there was a panda. Wait, listen. There was a panda on the sticker, right? And so it said WWF. And then when I was a kid, I remember looking at this, saying to my teacher, hey, is that the WWF as in Hulk Hogan? They're like, no, this is the World Wildlife Federation. And then a couple of years later, guess what happened? They got sued by the WWF, and then they became WWE in 2001 and 2002. And then they had this whole campaign, get the F out, right? Because they changed the E to the F to the E, so they're like, get the F out. So.
I have a question. So when they were doing all this transitioning, right? Did they mess around in like what was up with like the NWO? Was that during the WWF?
Yeah, they were they were doing all of that in in WCW. So yeah.
So that was it. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
WWF.
Yeah, Rodzilla says that was WCW. Yeah, there was two organizations going on. Yeah, rival organizations.
Shout out to the chat. But I have a question. So, do you play? Because I haven't talked to you in a while. Do you play or UFC like video game shit?
Yeah. I play it sometimes. Yeah, sure.
We need to do like a thing where we do this, but then we like go live and like we play.
Okay, so Zilla says no. The Wolfpack, no, and the Wolfpack was so sick. The WCW actually beat WWF in ratings for those few years. Yeah, they did. Yeah, because that was kind of like the
Oh, it was the new thing.
Yeah. And the NWO was really hot. They had the whole gang thing, with NWO, and then they had NWO Red, and then they had LW.
Shout out to the chat, man.
And NJ03 says the Wolfpack was my favorite, then DX. You know what? We could argue and say that the Wolfpack and DX were, sort of like all on the same team. So.
Shout out to the goddamn chat, bro. It's like. Oh, you know what was crazy? And you probably don't play many video games. Maybe the chat does. The best wrestling video game on earth was like the WrestleMania shit for like Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
If you ever seen it, ooh, it was fun.
Yeah, Zilla says, Yeah, Wolfpack was so sick. Wolfpack Sting. Yeah, that's right. Sting went from black and white to black and red. So yeah, that was that was interesting back in the days. But anyways, Trey, listen, I'm gonna have to
No.
sign off
We're
on
going live for 75 hours.
no, we're not. No, I actually just wanted to so listen, this was great. This was great that we were able to do this. I've always wanted to, do content with you, but I didn't know at what circumstance we were going to do it. But now we did it. So before we go, any handles that you would like to, share with everyone out there to reach out to you?
I wish I had a few. I could say that I play a lot of video games. So me personally, Savvy Saint 420. That's SAVYSAINT 420. But that's my gamer tag. So
okay.
I don't benefit from it. But I do have a pretty nice YouTube channel. That's Media Guru.
Media Guru. Okay.
MEDIAGURU on YouTube, and that's where most of my subscribers and people that watch me.
Okay, good. So for those of you that wanted to get at his handles, just tune into the 2 hour mark of this live stream. Okay, 2 hour mark of this live stream, and you will get all of his handles right there, literally at the 2 hour mark, because my live screen right now is telling me 120 minutes, so that is 2 hours. So a couple more last chats that I'm going to read before we sign off. Rodzilla says, Wolfpack was so sick. Wolfpack Sting, we read that. WrestleFest is the most beautiful game ever made. Gino, shout out to Gino.
Familiar. I think that name sounds really familiar.
So Gino Liedman, shout out to you. He says, good morning, my brother. And still, Drickus still knocks Duplessis. Well, brother, that's not how the fight went. Obviously, Kamzat won, but I see what you're saying. Rodzilla.
Wait.
Rodzilla says, W stream, bro. Great chatting with you guys. Likewise, man. And everybody around the world, don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Check out the latest videos that I have, latest content, latest community post, and also the latest live stream. I will see you in the next content, inshallah.
There's a lot of people in the chat. Please like the thing. So that's how you don't even have to donate or anything. Just hit that like button, please, guys.
Well, actually, if you want to donate, of course, I encourage that. But yeah,
what I'm saying that if you can, the like button is a good way to do so. But one more thing, you got to come over to where I live. Okay.
Don't say it. Don't say it on.
No.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Yeah.
But when you do come over, we're gonna be watching the UFC fights on a fucking 98-inch, and we're gonna.
Oh, okay. All right.
98-inch, bro.
All right, for sure, man.
Let's get busy.
All right, man. Well, hey, listen, great talking to you, Trey. Always good seeing you. Live good, living happy, and prosperous as always. So, with that in mind, chat, I will see you guys in the next one, probably first thing tomorrow morning. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, inshallah.